Hey Houda Nation, welcome back to another film study, and today we're going to take a look at Jamaal Williams, who I'm sure if he ever somehow ends up on this weird side of YouTube, will appreciate me repping the Hidden Leaf Village. And if y'all don't know what that is, well, y'all are missing out. Like that's all I can really say about it. Check it out. It's a classic at this point. So anyway, today we're going to take a look at a piece of tape going over Jamaal Williams, who was recently added to the squad. Now, as always, I like to preface all these videos by saying a very simple: remember that a singular video of, in this case, one game and a few drives is not a full-fledged scouting report. You need hundreds of snaps to properly evaluate a player and what they can do. But what this will try to do is give you an idea of how he fits with New Orleans, as well as explain some of the things that he did in Detroit. I took the time to go through 5 games of him in 2022 with Detroit, as well as having seen him over the past few years anyway, between Green Bay and with the Lions. And then we're going to try to see some of those examples here in today's video and talk about how that actually can apply to your New Orleans Saints. Now, before we get into that, let's take a look at this. This is his career stats as well as his basic overall profile. The reason I'm showing you this is to give you an idea of what he's done in the league, who he kind of is in the league, like as a player, and what his strengths and weaknesses are by stats. The biggest thing for a lot of players is going to be how effective he was at getting into the end zone last year. Detractors will note that that was a one-year anomaly, as in he's only done that last year. Before, he wasn't that crazy, like, wow, end zone. But what I think that you're going to find, if you're a Saints fan, that you should be excited about is the committee system that he ran with last year, because it wasn't just Jamaal Williams. There was Swift there. They actually had 3 running backs that they relied on a lot, where Williams was more like that first, second down guy, traditional running back, and then they would bring in Swift for a lot of the passing situations, and even going to where they would sub them in drive by drive. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, and I do think that Jamaal can do more, but let's go ahead and rotate over to the film and talk about it. I'm actually going to make myself a little bit smaller on the screen because I'm not the important piece here. The running back is. Now, he is number 30. We're going to go over a few different plays. And again, this is not going to cover everything, but the idea is to give you an example of what he can do. Now, I chose the Miami game, even though he doesn't have a ton of touches in this game, to give you an example of him as a receiver, running back, and how he was used in multiple formats. So that first option, that little play action there, swing pass, bam. Love the contact balance, manages to get a first down, and we'll look at it from the opposite angle. Now, I love this type of play, and I think when we're talking about how he can be used, this is kind of what you're really looking at with Williams. You're going to see him not line up a lot like Alvin Kamara will from the slot, but you will see him get, passes out of the backfield, whether it be a quick hitch, these swing routes, things that give him in the open space, and he is a late read. He could be the number 3 option or the number 5 option in terms of the progression, but he is an outlet to go to, and he has some reliable hands. So right there's a play action. You can see we're investigating here, the eyes, middle of the field. I actually don't know why we don't hit that window right there, just quarterback critiquing. You've got the window to throw that, but anyway, ends up checking it down to the swing. Love the contact balance, stay up, get the first down. This is one of the things I really like about him, and he is a larger running back, 220 pounds, a little bit bigger, as you're used to seeing from Mark Ingram or Alvin Kamara, and that means you're probably going to have a little bit more power to make these type of runs. And if you're the Saints, pay attention, because he is a natural fit for a lot of power schemes. When you're talking about running duo, trap, pulling guards, even split zone, he fits pretty well in those natural tendencies. Here we're going to have an I formation, and this is a power type of look that we've seen the Saints use a lot. But we're bringing out the sweep. Now, I like this one, even though it doesn't get a lot of yards, because you do see him attack the edge and get there. The blocking does not facilitate the ability for him to really kind of collapse out. You see we kind of miss our cut block right here, or I'm sorry, not cut block, our crackdown right here gets missed, and that's a pain point. Like you can't be doing that, ladies and gentlemen. You got to hit this right there. But anyway, they don't hit it, and they move on to the next level. And because there wasn't the effective block there on that crackdown, they weren't able to have success, and they were able to just trail down. Miami was. You see the main guy that ends up making the play. It's the main guy that should have been blocked. And, well, as a coach, you're not going to be happy about stuff like that, right? You're going to have a problem with those type of plays, and well, let's just not spend our whole time griping. Anyway, capturing the edge, you see the type of plays he gets used in, but let's keep on moving into some more examples of what he does and what he can do quite well. I think I would like to say that he does some things quite well. All right, now we're going to be in a single back formation. We got the strong extra guy to our left. There's that split. Bam, right there. I wanted to include that because that is something simple but something nice. Love the pass protection here, that little chip. It's a very hard chip. And a lot of times you'll see these running backs come through, and when they're going chip, it's just like, oh, patty cake, go get my quarterback, man. Not this guy. Full shoulder, forces the rusher back inside, completely takes him out of the play. This is the type of block I like to see when my guy's going out and going into the flat. Even if you're a final read, you still have a job to do. And part of that job is making sure your quarterback is safe. See how he resets completely the defensive lineman. The defensive lineman can no longer run the arc. It forces it back into the mess, and that helps keep a clean pocket to where the quarterback doesn't have to worry about that blind side being hit. It's something simple. And I'm not saying that after watching the film, I believe that he is an incredible pass blocker, because I don't. I think that's probably an area that he could improve on. But there are some really nice plays there to pay attention to if you're watching his film. There's some good things to see. So let's look at it one more time from the other angle, then we'll go to another play. But in general, I love the physicality that you'll see from Williams. It's going to be a great, 1-2 with Alvin Kamara. We don't know how much time Alvin Kamara will miss or if he will miss at all, given his legal issues. But this is something that you have to like in terms of a fit going 1-2 punch there with AK. So now we're in single back, strong side to the right. Notice the box. This is a stacked box. This is a very stacked box. And we haven't seen a running back for the Saints really be that type of player since Mark Ingram in terms of taking on stat boxes and doing it a lot, or at least even doing it effectively. You've had guys take on stack boxes, so I'm not trying to say that it doesn't happen. But what I will say is that you haven't had it happen very effectively in recent years. It's been one of those things that while you might have a guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's a lot right there. You might have Alvin Kamara take them on. Historically, that's not ever been his bread and butter. So let's talk about the bread and butter right now. All right, right there, play action, little dump off. Now, this is a big one for me because of what the effect is of Jamaal Williams. Jamaal Williams necessitates this stacked box, and it opens up opportunities for you as a play caller. We've seen this type of play in a New Orleans offense for many, many years. We're going to leak out that tight end after a quick block. And a lot of times when you run something like a Y leak, which you're going to see this tight end do, you do a quick block and then you release out the backside. But they actually do it front side this time. So watch. Play action. We got our pull right there. As play action does, and I'm always big on this analytic, I talk about it all the time, your running game does not have to be elite or very good for play action to work. Play action works, period. Linebacker trapped. Everybody condensed down. And that is because you have a player that you have to respect in Jamaal Williams. It doesn't matter if he's averaging 6 yards a carry today or 3. He drives that respect. And what happens? Watch that block come off of it right there. Bam. Look at that. Big play. That's because of Jamaal Williams necessitating that stacked box. If Jamaal Williams wasn't there and it was, a Darren Sproles type, no offense Darren Sproles, but 5'6" Mighty Mouse, you're not going to get a lot of people coming in and stacking the box like this to make sure that every gap is filled to prevent you from hitting the big play. So you bring this in and now you pair it with play action, and now you pair it with this Y leak on this front side. You're going to get this quick little block, then leak out in a big play. But it's all because of Jamaal Williams and what he can provide to you as an offense. But that's enough me goading over. Look at that. Bam. It's pretty. Doesn't matter that he didn't touch the ball. He had an impact, and you can take advantage of these type of plays. Let's move on to the next one here. I think he scores a touchdown on this drive. So let's keep moving back into the I formation, going to our strong setup that we like. This time we got the tight end on the left, but they use a lot of motion in Detroit, which I love. See that there? The motion. We're going to motion that line, that fullback to the left, but we're pulling because, man, they love them some power. But right there, bam, snowballs, bowling balls, right up the middle for a touchdown. But let's look at it from this angle. The key is reading the blocks. You're going to have a duo block and a pull. That duo block is right there with the guard in center taking on here. We got a guy responsible. The next level, guard's going to pull. You're the backup guy. You're cleaning up guy right there. So look how it goes. Took out the end man. Didn't have the best block, honestly. Anders Pete does this a lot better. Fullback comes here to clean up, and now you just need to read and see how it develops. Now, two ways this can kind of go. You can follow your cleanup guy right through there, but this block has kind of failed, so we've lost that end contain. But you've also had this double team. You trust it to push up to the backside. Either way, he's got to have the good read. He does. Sees it develop. Gets skinny through the hole. Touchdown. Watch it one more time. Again, this is good movement, but also great read by Williams. Your main pull guard is going to try to come through here and clear. He misses the clear. That's okay, because there's your follow-up guy. Then you've also got this double team who is going to the second level. So either way, we're watching this guy, we're reading off this guy, and we're reading off this potential guy. I know I've got really Madden pin going on right now, and I'm sorry, but you're also reading off this guy. So what's the mic doing? How's my end situation looking? And he has to read all this at what's called the mesh point, the point that you hand the ball off right there. Then you got to either trust your lineman to reach the second level, or you follow your clear out and go this way. But he reads all this in a split second, gets skinny through the hole, touchdown. Like to see these type of plays. Let's move on to another one a little bit later in the game. We'll go to this one. Now, the reason I'm changing it up here, we're back in an I form, but it's the styles that I want to kind of go over here. This time we're doing an outside zone run. I love wide zone or outside zone. It's my favorite style of running scheme. I've said that for years. There's a reason it's been so daggone popular since the 90s with Alex Gibb helping really take it to the next level. And then the Saints have used a mix of that with split zone and duo and trap for years. So I'm just kind of pointing out that you're going to see a lot of things that fit well for Williams. All right, so from the I form, there's your outside zone, moving. Now, what do we always talk about? The outside zone run creates 3 rushing lanes: the bend, the bang, and the bounce. So the goal is to read, are we going, wrong pin. Give me just a second. Are we going this way? Are we bending it up? Or do we need to cut back? He has to read all 3 of these lanes at the point and decide what's best for him. And pretty clearly, I think he recognizes, he sees the flow of the defense. The linebacker gets caught in the trash, and a great cutback here to then go and make a big play. Now, one thing I'll add about Williams is he does not have the elite change of direction that an Alvin Kamara does. He's not going to have the level of impact in an outside zone run that AK has. This is not to down Williams, just that AK is a special player. Whereas the advantage to a Williams style guy is he has the power to really barrel through and go through guys that AK doesn't necessarily have. AK relies on amazing athleticism and contact balance and elusivity. Love that word. And then you have a Jamaal Williams type who's going to barrel roll you. Now, this is another outside zone run, more of the movement down. You see, we got the beautiful blocking that time. And that penalty, I believe, is, I don't think. Okay, anyway, that penalty, I'm pretty sure, was for guy lined up in the neutral zone right there. See that defensive end right there? I'm pretty sure that's where that penalty is. I didn't go back and check the Jesus book for it. Right, come through, read, and then capture it. Get north-south. Love that he's a north-south style runner. Not enough of those guys in the NFL, man. There's a lot of guys that want to make you miss and everything, and he's going to go north-south. Let's move up again. I want to take a look at a couple more before we get to our wrap-up point. If you're enjoying this, by the way, do me a huge favor, like the video. All right, let's come on to this play out the backfield. We're going to watch a couple of these here. He's by himself. There's more of our motion. Play action right there in the flat. Turn up field, put the shoulder down, try to get to the first down. 9-yard gain, you're not going to complain about that. This is one thing that I think that you can use effectively with him, and it shows that he's not one-dimensional. He's not only a running back, but look at the respect that he brings in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is all because you have to respect him in the box. You've brought your DB down up close because you've got to watch for him, and yet he's still going to find a way to make a play. There's your play action. A little pressure by the guard there. It's a miss. Don't worry. He's fast enough, quick enough. He gets to a spot, lowers his shoulder, gets a nice play. That's what you like to see. You want to stack the box against me? Well, you better be bringing a big boy because he's going to power through you. And you can see him doing it, whether we're doing a pulling system with power, whether we're doing it with outside zone. Here's your outside zone run right here. Look at the vision, which seems to be better than what he had at BYU. That was kind of a knock coming into the league. He didn't have the best ball carrier vision. And I don't think it's Alvin Kamara level, but I do think it's good enough to properly read the very types of holes that are going to be presented to him because of the running styles New Orleans uses. Again, what we talk about outside zone doing, opening up 3 lanes. Does he need to bounce it out? Does he need to bend it backwards? Does he need to bang it up ahead? Well, he chooses correctly here. Following the block, sees it, bam, up we go. This is what you're getting with a guy like Jamaal Williams. He's not the amazing, once in a lifetime, once in a generation player, but he fits so well in New Orleans in terms of the style that this team runs, the style that this team continually has employed throughout the past 15, 20 years, regardless of if it was Pete Carmichael or Drew Brees leading the way, or Sean Payton, Drew Brees, or even now Andy Dalton and now Derek Carr. So as a running back, this guy fits really well, and I think this is going to be one of the better additions of the offseason. I really do believe that what you see from Jamaal Williams is not only a capable running back, who, by the way, has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, great character guy, chip on his shoulder because he felt like the offer from Detroit was insulting. New Orleans respected what he can do in this system. And I think that you're going to see, as long as he stays healthy, a very productive player. If you liked this video or you have questions about film study, how to evaluate it, while we're evaluating Jamaal Williams, drop them in the comments section down below. You're amazing. Hudak, God bless. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. And if you do me one last favor, like the video and share it out with all your friends so that more Hudaks can come see why Jamaal Williams fits so well in New Orleans. Deuces, I'm out.